Hi guys, it's Monday, August 28th, and I'm here just with a quick update today. Very quickly talk a little bit about some stitching, not a whole lot, but also mostly just about being back from taking our son to the East Coast to start school. So, as most of you know, at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia, he's a freshman. He is majoring in music education. It's 1,257 miles door to door from our front door to Ryan's dorm. It takes 19 hours to make the drive. Anyway, so I just wanted to do kind of a quick video update, talk about kind of a few things that we did while we were there, and a little bit of stitching that I did, and I did some vlogging. So I'll try to talk fast and then include the vlogs that I did, and that will be my post for this week. Anyway, so let's see what happened. We left Saturday morning. We decided to do the trip over the course of 3 days going. We knew that we were going to have to be back in 2 days. Ryan did not move in he could not move into his dorm until Thursday morning at 9:30. And Madeline, our youngest, who went with us on the trip, had to be back her senior retreat. So we knew that we were going to have to leave Thursday as soon as we moved him in and kind of got him settled, and get back, probably have a day of driving 10 hours and a day of driving 9 hours in order to have her back by Friday night so that she could get a decent night's sleep. She had to leave at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. So we took our time leaving on Saturday, and we drove Saturday from Omaha to Bloomington. Hi guys, this is the start of the vlog on our way to George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. We've been on the road for several hours, and I'm finally not driving, so Brian has taken over the driving. And this is what I'm getting ready to work on here shortly. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. I'm very excited to do a little work, put a few stitches into that. But this is the view out the window on the east side of Des Moines, Iowa. So hope you're all having a great day. We drove all day Sunday, and Sunday we pulled in, late afternoon, we pulled into Wheeling, West Virginia. Hi guys, it's Kathleen, and it is Sunday night, and we are in Wheeling, West Virginia tonight. Just a little tiny town. There's actually a Wheeling, Ohio, and a Wheeling, West Virginia, and we're on the West Virginia side, right off of the Ohio River. Just a beautiful little town. Our hotel is kind of in the hills, and it is just a gorgeous place. Anyway, stitching has been a no-go this whole trip. The car ride is just too bouncy to do much of anything. So I started a little bit of February witchy, Flying Witches, and my stitching is just kind of horrid. So left that alone. I tried to do a little bit of mouse house, and it made an error here. Let's see if I can find it here. This should be moved. I'm off by 1 row, so that's a no-go. And then I tried to do a little bit of Here There Be Monsters, or actually it's Celtic Sampler. And it's just too bouncy in the car. So anyway, I did the majority of the driving today. Lots of fun, but not so much. We have 4.5 hours more to go tomorrow before we make it to Fairfax, Virginia, or DC. We haven't decided if we're going to stay in DC for a couple nights or just go straight to Fairfax and then Uber into DC, but at any rate, one of the two. So Wheeling, West Virginia is right along the Ohio River, and it's right on the West Virginia-Ohio border, and there's a Wheeling, Ohio and a Wheeling, West Virginia, and they're right next to each other, and we stayed on the West Virginia side, and it's this little mountain town at the kind of in the Appalachian Mountains. So cute, so quaint, so sweet. Got up, took our time Monday morning, and drove to Fairfax. We decided we would stay in Fairfax because we didn't know, with number one, the eclipse, and number two, students moving into the university, we weren't sure how crowded Fairfax would be. So we started out that morning at the Air and Space Museum, which is a part of the Smithsonian. We spent several hours in the Air and Space Museum and really had to push ourselves along because we wanted to see as much as we could, and we just had the day. But that was a lot of fun, where the National Art Gallery is. And we went in there, and again, free of charge. I could have spent days in that building. It was breathtaking. The architecture in the building is outstanding, but the art, And for those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, you've seen the picture. I was able to snap a really neat picture of Ryan standing in front of a painting of a violin. And it just kind of captures that boy, that child. By the way, this is a cup that Ryan brought me back from Germany. Maddie brought me back a teacup that's gorgeous too, but this is a cup that Ryan brought me back from Germany when they went on band tour, and I just love it. I just realized I forgot to put sweetener in my coffee. In the morning, I drink coffee with no sweetener. In the afternoon, I put sweetener in it, but I'll forego it right now. Anyway, we visited the American history part of the Smithsonian, and I wanted to stitch everything I saw. I kept thinking, oh, this would look so cool in a cross stitch. Oh, that would look really neat in a rug. I felt exactly the same way at the art gallery. And then we walked to the Washington Monument. And around that, and then we walked to the Capitol. And then we walked up to the Lincoln Memorial and saw that. And that was Maddie. That was on Maddie's list of to-do things. She'd always wanted to see the Lincoln Memorial. And Wednesday afternoon, we went and visited Mount Vernon, which, for those of you who don't know, was the George Washington's childhood home. He lived there until he was 6 and then moved away, and then came back as an adult and lived there until he died in 1799, by the way. First of all, I could have spent $1 million. It is not free to go to Mount Vernon. It is $20 a person to get in, which seemed pricey until we spent 4 hours there and could have stayed another 4. But we found out that Mount Vernon is run completely on its own. It takes no state or federal money. Mount Vernon is south, I believe, south or west of Fairfax, where Ryan is, and it's about 40 minutes from Washington, D.C. in Virginia. It is absolutely beautiful. I did buy a few things there. This is just a magnet, but that's a picture of the house. And couldn't that be stitched, and wouldn't that be a gorgeous stitchery? That just kills me how great that is. I love it. I also bought, for my friend Gail, who always gets me something whenever she travels, a Mount Vernon flower sack kitchen towel. They had a lot of fall things on display. And some of the trees in Virginia are starting to turn, just a few. We don't have any of that here yet in Nebraska, but some of the trees are starting to turn, and I can't imagine how beautiful that place is going to be come fall. And then for myself, whenever we travel, I always try to get a Christmas ornament, a Christmas tree ornament. And I spent probably 30 minutes trying to decide and pick out an ornament. And what I settled on was this beautiful bulb ornament. It says "Greetings from Mount Vernon." It has a picture of the house on the front, snow-capped trees. Isn't that so pretty? I was really, really pleased with that find. It wasn't cheap, but I think totally worth it. I think Maddie got a t-shirt and Ryan got a set of playing cards, and that was about all that we bought at Mount Vernon, and we still managed to spend a lot of money there. Anyway, it was well worth it. We just had a grand time. We moved Ryan in on Thursday morning and took him to lunch and headed back. We got 2 hours outside of Fairfax to Cumberland, Maryland, and I was driving, and every light on my dashboard lit up and told me there was a problem with the battery system. We figured we needed a new battery. There was an AutoZone right off the highway. We stopped to get a new battery. No problem. The lovely AutoZone guy replaced the battery and put a new one in, and the lights did not go out. He ran one more diagnostic test and discovered that our alternator had gone out. It was going to be overnight before they could fly in or bring in or truck in a new alternator, and it was going to be 4 hours from start to finish in replacing that alternator. We were stuck. So we thought, well, okay, Brian will stay here with the minivan, and Maddie and I will rent a car and drive to Omaha. So we went to the car rental place, and they told us it was going to be $450 to drive a rental car from Cumberland, Maryland, one way and drop it off in Omaha, Nebraska. Not to mention, that was just the drop-off fee. That wasn't the rental car fee. So we ditched that idea. We asked if there was an airport close by. No, we could drive 2 hours back to DC and fly her out of DC. Or we could drive to Indy, and those were the closest airports that would have a plane that would fly to Omaha. So we decided just to bite the bullet, had a nice dinner, tried really hard to keep a positive attitude. Brian took the car to the mechanic the next morning. They had it fixed by noon, and we were on the road by 1 o'clock. We drove 19 hours through the night. After midnight, we switched off drivers about once every hour, and in the last hour and a half, we were switching off every 30 minutes. We pulled into our driveway at 6:16 in the morning on Saturday morning. Maddie ran upstairs, washed her face, packed a bag, got her sleeping bag, and headed off to the high school to leave on the senior retreat. Brian and I spent the day Saturday pretty much sleeping, although I did do some stitching. I took a shower when we got home Saturday morning after Maddie left, and I did not change out of those pajamas until this morning, Monday morning, when I took a shower. It has been a couple of days. Hey guys, I just really quick wanted to show you an FFO that I had. In my last video, I talked about the Snowflower Diaries monthly sale. So anyway, I finished it and got it framed. Well, I framed it. And I'm really super pleased with how it turned out. So here it is. This is Snowflower Diaries June, minus the word June at the top, and trying to get rid of the glare. And this is the frame that I put it in, which isn't really showing up great, but what I loved about the frame, it was just a frame that I had, is that the gold on the frame matches whatever these little peaches or whatever these are hanging from the tree perfectly. So it looks like the frame was made for this particular guy. So anyway, I was very, very pleased with that. All right, talk to you later.